Long gone are the days when the only major names in the games industry were Shigeru Miyamoto and Hideo Kojima. Nowadays, there are a slew of faces to the major studios you love and some that you love to hate. But today, I'd like to talk to you about a man you've likely never heard of. He was an immigrant who came to the United States and launched his own company in the early 80s, when video games were still just bleeps and bloops. He started by doing contract jobs all around, but eventually would go on to create inspiring levels of graphics and lead to the creation of one of the biggest franchises in gaming. This man flew so under the radar, there's not a single video interview with him at all. That man's name is Diego Angel. Diego Angel was born in Colombia, just outside Medellin, the same city where Pablo Escobar ran one of the most successful drug cartels and became the wealthiest criminal of all time. Early in his life, he planned to pursue a career in the arts. In particular, he wanted to be a director. He loved films and documentaries, and had great attention to detail. But there was a problem. Medellin wasn't known for having a budding film industry. So he decided to get out. He would go to America and study at a film school. He ended up at Columbia College Chicago. It was here that he realized something about himself. Quote, "I wanted to do filmmaking, but what I found there was I loved animation." And while he didn't end up being an animator, his passion for the medium led him to invest in a new, still unproven technology, 3D computer animation. As soon as he graduated, he went all in. In 1984, he started his own studio in San Diego called Angel Studios. But he was far from an overnight success. In fact, it was way harder than he anticipated at first. Quote, "In San Diego, I got the computer, I got myself an office, I went to training. Within the first few days, I found out that, wow, why the fuck did I get into this?" He hired as much staff as he could at the start to help him set up the systems for the computers. And then, in his words, he started suffering for 2 years. In fact, in the first year, he only got one job that reportedly brought in just $7,000. Despite this, his employees from this time period speak really fondly of working under Angel. Every Friday afternoon, he would reportedly pass out shots of Patron tequila to everyone at work, saying, "Okay everybody, time for sippy whippy." And this was a practice he would continue for the rest of his career in the games industry. But beyond his charming, suave self, Diego Angel was a man of principles. He sticks hard to what he calls the 3 Ps: passion, patience, and perseverance. He often makes decisions from his gut, and he didn't always take every job that came his way, only the ones that would showcase the talent of his team and the technology they had available. Quote, "Do that, and the money will come." As the years went on, Angel Studios began to make a name for itself, and in the 90s, they started getting some big-profile jobs, including doing a scene in the movie Lawnmower Man, which was the first time a human actor was fully replaced by a CG avatar. And they did the animated music video to Peter Gabriel's Kiss That Frog, which won them an MTV Music Video Award for Best Special Effects. But the 90s also saw Angel Studios get the attention of Nintendo. They had been working with the tech giant Silicon Graphics, developing demos to showcase the power of Silicon's 3D computers in exchange for the cutting-edge hardware that they were developing them for. These demos caught the attention of Genyo Takeda, who was the general manager of Nintendo's Integrated Research and Development Division. Nintendo had a new console coming up, the N64, and he wanted to see if Diego's team could make a pretty tech demo for them. Takeda called up Angel and expressed interest in meeting with him. Angel asked how soon he would like to come. Their meeting was the next morning at 8 a.m. Takeda was very impressed by what Angel Studios was doing. He said, "I want to work with you guys, but I need you to give me some time." And without missing a beat, Diego Angel responded, "Mr. Takeda, I have to be honest with you, but I'm talking to Sony too." Takeda was stunned and quickly cemented a partnership between Nintendo and Angel Studios, announcing that they would be part of Nintendo's dream team of developers, a list of 10 third-party studios that would be making exclusive games for the up-and-coming N64. Oh, and in case it wasn't clear, Sony had never contacted Diego Angel. He was bluffing. From here, Angel Studios jumped headfirst into making video games, and not just with Nintendo. They would go on to make games for both Sega and Microsoft. Their first assignment was a car game, and it actually led to a meeting between Diego Angel and Shigeru Miyamoto himself. The game was called Buggy Boogie, and it was supposed to be a DNA-based car combat game. You would have the ability to swallow up other cars and obtain their abilities. Diego and his team had worked on prototyping the game, and supposedly he personally spent 45 days preparing for the meeting. Even Angel knew the legacy of Miyamoto. They had prepared this big book of all the design concepts to show him and walk him through everything that they had planned. But after 10 or so minutes, Miyamoto slammed the book shut and said, "Diego, I don't want this." Angel recalls, quote, "My balls got frozen. I lost my legs. I said, fuck, I blew it." Regaining composure, he responded, "What do you need, Mr. Miyamoto?" He said he didn't want to see any designs. He told him to spend the next 3 months working on the game and making sure it felt good to play. Angel then says that Miyamoto looked back at the book and said, quote, "You're going to throw away most of that shit." Now, this account is from Diego Angel retelling the story, so he's likely paraphrasing, but a part of me really wants to hear Miyamoto swear. Unfortunately, Nintendo ended up canceling Buggy Boogie after those 3 months. Their philosophy at the time was to cancel something quickly after only spending a few months on development, rather than spending 2 years and potentially having a game that was just okay. In the end, Angel Studios only produced 3 games for the N64. Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, and the N64 port of Resident Evil 2, which to this day is a technical marvel. The original Resident Evil 2 came on 2 separate discs, clocking in at 1.2 gigabytes of data for the original PlayStation. Contrast this with N64 cartridges, which could only hold 64 megabytes, which means the PlayStation CDs were over 18 times bigger in size. But through some miracle, Diego Angel and a team of just 9 developers were able to get the game to fit on just one N64 cartridge. And they even added some special features. This impressed Nintendo and the game's publisher, Capcom. Stuart Spilkin, a producer who worked on the Resident Evil 2 port, said, quote, "We were the first, at least as I was told, the first developer outside of Japan to work directly with Capcom Japan." And this relationship was due largely in part to Diego Angel. Back in the 90s, there was a much bigger East versus West mentality in the games industry. He credits his ability to form relationships with the Japanese studios as part of him not being an American as well. But he also had a secret weapon to help him out during negotiations: alcohol. Quote, "I used to go every month to Japan and just bring 6 bottles of tequila. They loved it." Darren Bader, a former art director at Angel Studios, said, quote, "You seen that commercial for Dos Equis? The most interesting man in the world? That is Diego Angel. Literally, if you talk to anybody who worked at Angel Studios with Diego, they would say they based that commercial on this man. I mean, the whole attitude, the whole demeanor, that was the guy running the show." After the success of the Resident Evil 2 port, Capcom approached Angel Studios to make a brand new IP with them. At first, the idea was to do a game where the player controlled a SWAT team that featured a variety of characters with different abilities that the player could switch between at any time. Somewhere in development, the game switched to a Western setting. Diego Angel loved this concept. Quote, "There were no Western games. There were no cowboy games. It fascinated us. The idea of the horse and of the shooting. Before that, it was wars and shootings, and this and that, but there was no shootings between cowboys. So we said, let's do it." The original SWAT title was twisted to mean Spaghetti Western Action Team, but you might recognize the game as what it ended up becoming: Red Dead Revolver. Over time, the relationship between Capcom and Angel Studios had soured. At one point, Capcom sent Akira Yasuda, the designer of Street Fighter's Chun-Li, to the States to oversee development. He started butting heads with Angel Studios developers, who were trying to create the game with a more grounded feel, but the suggestions Yasuda was making were more fantastical. At one point, another Capcom employee suggested it would be fun to name the game Red Dead Revolver because, and I quote, "Red and dead rhymed." The people at Angel Studios were left scratching their heads. They had to change the game to make the new title make sense, so the main character's name became Red, and they made his hand get burned so it also was red. During this time, Angel Studios was also working with Rockstar Games on titles like Midnight Club Street Racing and Smuggler's Run. This process had developed a good relationship between the two companies, and it was around this time that Diego Angel was considering selling Angel Studios. He says he put forth the idea to both Microsoft and Activision, but only Rockstar was willing to keep giving his team the level of freedom that they currently had. Several times a year, members from Rockstar would come to visit Angel Studios to see what they were working on. On one visit, Sam and Dan Houser, the two brothers behind the blockbuster Grand Theft Auto series, saw a prototype for Red Dead Revolver and got very interested. They reportedly said that they had always wanted to work on a Western. Everything was put into motion. Between the power struggles with Red Dead and Capcom, the Houser brothers wanting to work on a Western, and Angel wanting to sell the company, Rockstar's owner, Take-Two, made an offer to buy. Diego says, quote, "I remember they made me an offer. I said to the owner of Rockstar, I said, 'Thank you very much. It was very nice of you. We'll talk.' And I never called back. He called me back in a week. 'You haven't called me back.' I said, 'Why? For that offer? I don't need to call you back.' Angel says, 'They were lowballing me.' Shortly after, they returned with another offer that, in the words of Diego Angel, he couldn't refuse. And Angel Studios was rebranded as Rockstar San Diego. As part of the deal, Rockstar got the rights to all of the progress on Red Dead Revolver so far. Capcom, who was frustrated with the years it saw wasted on the game, only asked that they be allowed to publish it in Japan. And so, 4 months after Capcom announced they had canceled Red Dead Revolver, Rockstar announced it was still happening. And after almost 5 years of development, Red Dead Revolver was finally released in May of 2004. Diego Angel says he enjoyed his time at Rockstar, and that the Houser brothers treated him with a lot of respect. But in 2005, he announced that he would be leaving the company and moving back to Colombia. He says that he could have kept working there and would have kept doing good things and making great money, but, quote, "Mentally and emotionally, I was done in the video game industry. I enjoyed the people at Rockstar, but I was getting homesick." Either way, the 125 employees working at Rockstar San Diego when he left would go on to make the sequel, Red Dead Redemption, which is considered by many to be one of the greatest games ever made. Nowadays, Diego Angel owns quite a few very successful restaurants in Colombia with his daughter. For a while, he focused his energy trying to create a space to nurture video game development talent in Colombia, but after being met with apathy from the government there, the program quickly stalled. Looking back, Diego says people always ask him, "What was your business plan?" He says, "I never had a business plan." They say, "But what was your vision?" He says, "No, it's just be alert, know what's going on, and know when to get in." Thank you so much for watching this video on Diego Angel. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did learning about the man's life. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content. Also, check out the links down below, which includes our Discord where we've made a cool space for cool people to talk about video games. Or check out our Twitch channel where we have 3 different weekly live shows based on video games. And maybe head over to our Patreon where you can donate money to help support us, which will also allow you to vote on the video essays we produce. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a wonderful day.